Hi there, a very good morning, good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you're hearing me and watching me. This is Simply Talks with another video, and this time this video corresponds to a very interesting small cap company that could perform well over the next 4 or 5 years. So we'll discuss about that as well as the markets. So let's get started. First of all, disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation. People taking any position to any share that I talk about should do it with their own due diligence and research. And I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. I am not a portfolio advisor, and that I am not an official, you can say, member of the NSC or the BSC. Whatever discussions with respect to markets or investments I do have is purely based on my experience into the market over the last 11, 12 years. And whatever decisions with respect to markets or investments you take, kindly take that on note that it is laden with market risk, and do consult your financial advisor before doing that. Now, before I talk about this company in the pharma space and the markets, a small request that kindly support me on Patreon. Once you do that, it will help me grow the channel and it will help you ask me questions, seek out answers in greater detail. Once you get the $10 membership on Patreon or on YouTube or on WhatsApp, you'll have access to my portfolio, which I keep updating from time to time. I keep changing my portfolio as it is a trading portfolio. You have analysis on different companies, discussion on domestic and global economies, updated watch list that I keep updating every 2 3 weeks, 1 month, and a long-term pick on a weekly basis. I do keep bringing in every weekend, so that's there as well. And whatever queries you're having, I'm ready to answer that. So you can become a member, you can check that out, and the links will be in the description. So in order to discuss about the markets first, let me take you to the TradingView website. So here what we see is that the markets are now stabilizing from what we were, and these are the US markets. I'll discuss 1 minute on this and then we'll come to the Indian markets. The stock in question I'm going to talk about is Sequence Scientific. So basically, Sequence Scientific is something that has performed decently over the last 1 year or so. After being plummeted to somewhere around 100, it has come back with vengeance and numbers are good, and now it has corrected from the top. So we'll discuss about this stock, and first let's discuss about the markets. So if you look at it, Dow Jones yesterday climbed, and it climbed up 0.5% after you can say opening lower or going lower. It went up and eventually made that run towards the higher end, and did extremely well yesterday compared to what the index has been doing over the last week or so. Around 42,500 is where the Dow Jones is. It has also corrected from the top. The high was around 45,000. Nasdaq is where the carnage has been more, and now it seems like that the index is stabilizing just below the 50-day moving average at the moment. But again, all these global indices, or especially US indices, have corrected, and this is a good sign. The way they were moving, uh, if you remember in July, it made a high of the Nasdaq made a high of 20,690, and we made a slightly lower low of from there at around 20,000 500 or so, and we have recovered. So as long as the closing of these, I mean, what was the closing? 20,200 is protected here, or 20,000 on a round figure level is protected on the Nasdaq. We are looking at much higher levels in US as well once Donald Trump take oath and going forward. So a good correction we have seen in the US market since December over the last 1 month. Similar correction we have seen in the Indian market. So if you look at the CNX mid cap index, we have seen correction going from December onwards. Actually, from September we corrected, then we had a rally, and again similar correction to what was happening in the global markets in US. We are seeing similar kind of correction from 17 December. We made a high of around 59,600 on the mid cap index, and now we have fallen sharply. So what has happened is that although on accumulative basis we have fallen somewhere around 12 14% on the broader indices, but the fact that we have fallen 14% over the last 1 month is what is troubling the investors, especially in the last few days. If you look here, on January 3rd, we made a high of 58,400, and from there we plummeted all the way to 52,000. So around 6,000 points, or 10% gone within a week. So in a week, 10% on the broader index is a huge thing, and the stocks fell 20-25% in a week. Some of the stocks fell like that. So that is what has hurt the investors, but what this is the kind of environment on an overall basis that we are in currently. We are in a situation where the markets will behave in a similar manner as we behave in our real life, as things move on in real life today compared to 20 years ago, compared to 10 years ago, with all this, you can say, online thing, internet, and algo trading, etc. We are going to see sharp falls, sharp run up, and sharper recoveries, then fall, and all those kind of things. So what you need to do is get into top quality companies and hold on to them, especially in this kind of an environment where the growth is slowing down here in India. And we are seeing that the EPS should be around 1100 rupees for Nifty, compared to 1150 that was projected at the start of the financial year. So now I'm expecting around 11% growth next year, although analysts are expecting 14-15% again, and they will again be disappointed. So on the basis of that, if we say on 1100 rupees, uh, around 11% growth on it. So we are looking at a scenario where we could be around 12.25, 11.5% on this. If we take 6% inflation, 5% inflation, 6% growth, 12.25, and if you say around 23 and a half, 24 times is where the markets peak out. 29,000 to 29,400, 300, 400 is what I'm looking at from a 18 months perspective as the target on the Nifty. And that is what I'm playing for. That is why uh, I would say that you all who are trying to make money monthly now should shift your focus to making money on a 6 months, 9 months basis rather than 1 month basis. This is going to be a difficult market, but eventually we will get to this figure on the Nifty. So we have seen that mid cap index has stabilized, and now around 52,000 is where the support lies. And once we cross 55,000, we are going to see further, you can say, move on the indices. Small cap index has also stabilized a bit, and again here the support is around 50,000. And remember, 48,000 something, 48,000, this was the level. 48,900 was the high. So around 49,000 was the high just before the election results in June. So that is a major support. And that's why the markets, the broader markets went to 50,200 and came back. So probably 2,000 point lower is a huge support, and I don't see that broken easily. And even if that gets broken, I don't see the market staying there for long, because the markets are already light from where we were earlier. Although the indices are expensive, especially the broader indices, but I still feel if the results are better compared to the Nifty stocks, we are going to see further up move in the broader market. Taking that into consideration, a stock from the broader market, a stock from the small caps space is Sequence Scientific. This is a stock in which I traded in, and those who are members might have known that we got in at lower levels and we exited very quickly on a sharp move. So what happened here was, once the stock started moving around these levels, we entered and we exited very quickly, because in a month's time the stock went up like this. So from around say 9-10 September, by the end of September we were at 230, and eventually we fell, we went up again. I didn't catch this run, but now what I feel is that the stock is stabilizing. The lower level of around 160, 170 could be your stop loss. If you keep a 160 stop loss, that is a deep stop loss. I understand 10%, but if you look at the numbers, if you look at what the company does and how the recovery is taking place, I feel this is set for a bigger move in the next, you can say, 1 year, 1.5 years, if the numbers continue to be good. So, what does the company do? So, Sequent Scientific is India's leading animal health company with presence in five countries across hundred. Sorry, presence in five continents across 100 countries. And so that's what it does. Basically, they are into API for, you can say, animal healthcare. So as of FY 25 24, API business has 32 commercial APIs with two manufacturing facilities. Formulation is also a part of the business. Europe contributes around 29%, Latin America 19%, Turkey is around 9%, and this is where the trouble started about a couple of years back, 2 3 years back. Emerging markets is around 6%, and India contributes around 7%. In terms of revenue split on the Q1 FY 25 basis, formulation is around 76% of the business, APIs is around 24%. Now, coming to the Turkey part, if you look at the numbers, on a year on year basis, things were going fine up till March 21, when when they produced 1360 crores of sales, which is around 10% growth, and profitability increased by around 20%. Margins kept on increasing, and suddenly the margins and profitability dropped in March 22. So from March 21 to 22, the dip took place. And if you look at it, the if you look at the 5 year chart of Sequence Scientific, it topped out after the March 21 numbers, and it started to fell from March 22 onwards. And so what happened was March numbers came out in April, May, and so April, May 21, and so the stock price went up even from here. And virtually after those numbers, the news started trickling in, and then the June quarter number came, and the market fell. So the June number came somewhere around here, and the stock fell, and it kept on falling. And look at the carnage that the stock has seen from those levels of 303 rupees all the way back to somewhere around 60 rupees. And this continued till March 23. So from March 21, when the numbers were pretty good, till March 23 we have fallen. And if you look at the March 23 numbers, it was 1421 crores, and the sales remained stagnant from 1360 to 1420 for 2 years. Profits dipped from 200 crores to 12 crores, and eventually net profit, which were around 100 crores 2 years back, went to a loss of 122 crores. And the prices, the stock price priced in everything in here, and the stock moved higher, and eventually we have seen that there is recovery taking place. So what has happened is that in Turkey, because of higher inflation and the kind of business that they were exposed to, eventually they ended up losing big time. What they have done over the last 2 years is that they have shifted base more or less from Turkey to other countries, and they are making more money from elsewhere apart from Turkey in Europe. And they are going big in US as well, and the numbers are now coming back into force. So if you look at it, in March 24 they did 1370 crores, but now in the last two quarters they have done 390 and 368 crores respectively. So if I add that up, that's 770 crores for 2 quarters, versus what they did was 1370 crores last year. So they are going to do northwards of 1500 crores, hopefully 1600 crores this year, which would be a decent, very decent jump from the last couple of years. And if you look at the margins, 10.75%, 10.6% margins have now again come back from those lows of 1 2 3 4%. So things are coming back. Stock is not at highs. Stock is at least, I mean, at around 170. Is it it's around 180 rupees. Its all-time high has been around 300, 320 rupees. So it's already still down around 40-45% from the highs. It's still down around 20% from the recent highs of 220, 225, so 230. So I think it's a reasonable bet to take if you are somebody who can take a risk with some capital of yours. This is something to be looked at, FIIs have increased stake over the last one quarter or so from 5.7 to 6.5%. DIIs have also increased stake and public shareholding has dipped, which is again a better sign that things are now coming back to normalization. The our stock is only 4,500 crore market cap, and so we are looking at a much better position for the pharma sector. So this is one stock to look at. So this was a video on Sequence Scientific and the markets. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icons and get my videos straight away when a person. Kindly support me on Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching.